Alright, what is up, y'all? I'm just gonna update you on what I've been doing. I've been just getting together the stats from all the players, how much they're getting paid, and adding everything up and all that good stuff. And I'm also putting together a list of our top prospects. But thing I find very interesting is the total pay roll for the whole entire team as of right now is about 54.68 million, which ain't a lot anyways, but Brewers are a broke franchise, so what did you expect? But which Ryan Bond is going to get traded, but if you take away his, we're sitting at 35.68 million. So I just thought that was interesting that he is really the spike in money, and that's obviously a reason why I'm trading him. But I did not realize it was like over half what the team is making, and we're doing just fine without him. Now, arguably, he could be a very good, productive player with Milwaukee as he has been for years, but I like to add youth, and I'm going for youth. So that's not going to work out. Another thing I will say is our bullpen has already been eating up a lot of innings, and I don't want that to be a growing trend as the starting pitching has all cumulatively has about half, or has just a little bit over half. How should I say this? Okay, so bullpen has pitched about 122 innings altogether, while the rotation has put together about 229-ish. So that's very bad for this early in the season. Basically, our bullpen is doing most of the work, and it needs to be the other way around. So, over the next couple games, no matter how the pitcher is doing, I might try to extend the starter to at least the 8th, whether he's doing good or not, and whether we win or lose, because I'm not expecting to make the playoffs. However, I would love to, but our bullpen cannot be as tired as it has been before days off and stuff. Another thing I realized is Yadiel Rivera is either going to be sent down, or he's just going to be implemented in a trade package. Quite simply, he's a nice young player, but the stats that he has this year, he has the lowest on base percentage on the team, and for the time he played, he has more strikeouts than really anybody else. So I'm not gonna give up on him yet, but worst case scenario, I'm gonna send him down to the minors, because I am looking to add another outfielder so I can give Santana and Flores and Neuenhuis some more days off, or ultimately replace Neuenhuis. Another thing I will say is that we need a new catcher. Martin Maldonado is currently hitting .255 with 1 home run and 21 RBIs. I'm not really big on home runs, but his average ain't too well. He's 29, and the backup catcher is 26, and he's at 56 overall. Now, obviously, we have some nice young catching prospects behind them, but Jacob Nottingham still has quite a few years before I consider him to be a starter, and Francisco Mejia, however you want to say his name, he still got a few years of development as well. So I might look in the trade block and see if there's any decent veteran guys like Hank Conger. He's pretty decent, but I would like to get someone that would make a bigger impact on the game. I think maybe Andrew Susac, because he's not too old, he's not too young, so he can hold the flame for a couple of years or longer if need be. His bat hasn't been the greatest because he's had very little experience with the time he has. He's currently over a 3-year period, he's gained over 1 year of big league experience, which ain't really that much. I don't know exactly what the Giants would want, but I might try to trade for him real fast. He's hitting well so far this year, but that's on 21 at-bats in 8 games. So he would obviously get an increase with us because he would probably become the starter, honestly, and then Rene Garcia will either get released or sent down to the minors, and I don't really see any room in the minors, so he's probably going to get released. He hasn't had much of an opportunity, but I just don't see a future for him in the organization. But with that being said, I'm just going to plug away and try to get some trades done, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I think I have a possible trade in place here with Garin Cecchini and Hernan Perez and Miguel Diaz for Andrew Suzak. Now, granted, Suzak has never been given a starter, so I don't know how he's going to be as a starter. I'm hoping it's well, but with his little experience, he's been up and down. And regardless, he could be a great backup catcher one day. So it makes a lot of sense in a way to me. Garin Cecchini could have a future, but he's honestly getting to that point where I don't really bother calling them up. Like Jack Elmore, he's not going to be on the team next year, neither is Brandon Macias. Hernan Perez, I just have second base too clustered right now with San Diaz and Javier Betancourt, so I don't really see him having a future on the team either. And Scooter Jet has been playing fairly well lately. One player that might come back to bite me in this trade is Miguel Diaz, but he's 21 with a 55 overall. He has C potential, so it's not too big of a deal, and he's struggling right now. But you never know how prospects are going to turn out and develop. So he could be a really good bullpen arm, or he could be a good starter one day. But at this point, this is a chance I'm willing to take, so I can get me a legitimate catching backup catcher at minimum and starter if I want. Well, not if I want. If he can get there. It'll also open up a few million, or not a few million, it'll open like about 500,000, a little bit less than that. But we're going to get a little bit more funds, which is always good, but it's also going to open up 2 roster spots that I can fill with prospects that will need a shot once free agency hits, if their team don't sign them, which I think there's some teams that haven't signed their prospects, so I'm going to have to check on that. But Andrew Suzak is coming to the Brewers. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to move some other players around. Since Suzak is joining, that's going to move down Rene Garcia, or it's going to be straight up release. Only thing that sucks is I have 2 catchers that are right-handers. That's the only crappy part about this. it's okay because I'm willing to move on with that. And at this point, I think Garcia just has to go. If you disagree, please feel free to leave a comment. But I think Garcia just got to go. He's 26. He was only 56 overall. That's no bueno. Obviously, Tim Lincecum is still on there because I have not played a game yet. I will be playing a game later on tonight. Probably post-draft or pre-draft. Depends on how long this takes to do. But there's one position I wanted to get out of the way. Now, the other is obviously another outfielder. I like Domingo Santana, and I like Ramon Flores. I think he would stay in center unless I get a faster outfielder than him. Now, obviously, we have Tyler Collins coming over from the Detroit Tigers here soon because I placed a claim on him. So there's a chance I'll let him start in left field to get some playing time because he hasn't had too much, but he hasn't been that well with this little playing time he had with the Tigers. So he'll either be the new left fielder or Diane Viciedo will get a shot. Because we signed Diane Viciedo to a 3-year deal that pays him $1.8 million per year. So obviously I signed him with intentions of having him possibly start in the outfield. And another thing that's very interesting with the team, well over half the team gets paid less than $1 million. Obviously that's going to change in the offseason because a lot of these guys have earned pay raises and some just simply have not earned a roster spot. With that being said, I'm going to end this video. Thank you for joining me. Peace out.
And there's no stopping us right now. I feel so close to you right now.